Hi, my name is Ruth Guest, and in 2022, I completed my Masters of Science in Cyber Psychology, where I received first class honours and an award for Student of the Year. I completed my thesis research on TikTok and self-presentation and self-concept clarity. This presentation is a visual outline of the thesis research and my findings. I hope you enjoy. So this is TikTok and the self. TikTok encourages people to explore creative content and express their creative selves. It has over 1 billion monthly active users, and 83% of these users have uploaded at least one video. TikTok is an experimental audio-visual playground. Essentially, ultimately, TikTok's platform is a utopia for creative expression. The research. So this is what my thesis was titled, TikTok and the Self, Self-Concept Clarity and Self-Presentation Online in TikTok Creators. So here's some psychological literature. So the presentation of self in everyday life online. Using theatre as a comparison, Goffman explains that when people or actors are conscious of being observed by an audience, they will perform, carefully observing rules and social conventions. For most social media users, research suggests that people's online self in their profiles shows very little difference from their offline self. There is yet to be any research conducted on how people present themselves on TikTok thus far. However, recent findings suggest that the TikTok platform encourages and supports authenticity. Let's move on to self-concept clarity. That is defined as the extent where an individual's concept of themselves is clearly and confidently defined, internally consistent, and temporally stable. Someone who measures high in self-concept clarity will have a better sense of who they are and typically behave more consistently across various social contexts. Strimbo and O'Connell found that adults with low self-concept clarity present a divergent self online, and those with a higher self-concept clarity did not have a more consistent self between online and offline, even though age and self-concept were positively correlated. Let's move on to CMC and TikTok effects. So how people present themselves on TikTok. There is multiple ways that people do this, but here are some of the features that people actually use on TikTok. CMC stands for computer mediated communication. And if we look at the first example, there is lip syncing and storytelling. The second example is augmented reality filters and content creation. And the third example is text-to-speech feature. Feel free to go ahead and pause this presentation to view these videos in the context of how they are presented.
Talk to me.
Stop flexing your muscles, Jordan. You look like a fucking imbecile.
Do you even know what this is, honey?
Croissant.
A what?
A croissant.
A croissant?
Yeah. My name's Croissant. My name's Croissant.
Ways my cat shows me her love. Runs to me. Wags her tail. Guards my door. Listens to me. Tummy rubs. Shares her water. Motor always running.
So we move on to the scales. So to start, we have the presentation of online self scale by Fullwood and colleagues in 2016. This measures how an individual presents oneself in online environments. It was originally for adolescents. There's 21 questions and 4 subscales: ideal self, multiple selves, consistent self, online presentation preference. Then we have the presentation of online self-scale for adults. So this is very similar to the original scale. However, it was designed specifically for adults. There is 17 questions and there's 3 subscales. So adaptable self, authentic self, and freedom of self online. This also includes factor analysis. If we move to the center here, we will see the self-concept clarity scale, which is Campbell and the colleagues. So this measures how stable an individual's self-concept is. There's 12 questions, and it's rated on a Likert scale from 1, strongly disagree, to 5, strongly agree. Now, if we take a look at the research questions for this thesis, there's 2. The first one, is there a relationship between self-concept clarity and online self-presentation in adult TikTok creators? Number 2, what are adult TikTok creators' uses and gratifications sought for using the features augmented reality filters, lip syncing effects, and text-to-speech effects? There was 2 hypotheses for this study. The first one, TikTok creators who score low on self-concept clarity scale will score higher on the freedom of self online subscale in the presentation of online self scale for adults. Hypothesis 2, TikTok creators who score high on the self-concept clarity scale will score higher on the authentic self subscale in the presentation of online self scale for adults. Moving on to the design, this is a mixed method study, cross-sectional correlational design. There was regression analysis for hypothesis 1 and 2, content analysis for open-ended qualitative questions. There was a priori codebook, and it was inter-rater reliability. There was 2 independent variables and 1 dependent variable. So self-presentation was measured through 2 subscales from the presentation of online self-scale for adults. The 2 subscales, freedom of self online and authentic self, were the independent variables. The dependent variable was self-concept clarity scale by Campbell and colleagues, and there were 6 open-ended exploratory questions. They were asked about the TikTok features, augmented reality filters, lip syncing effect, and text-to-speech effect. The participants, they were video creators. There was 96 of them, 62 were women, 30 were men, and 4 other gender identities, aged 18 to 64. The participants were recruited through TikTok organic posts and advertising, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Reddit. They just had to be over 18 and creating videos on TikTok. There was no necessary criteria, and obviously participation in the survey was voluntary. So if we look at self-concept clarity to start, the self-concept clarity scale is a 12-item scale. It is 0.85 on Cronbach's Alpha. And it assesses how clearly defined and consistent an individual's concept of themselves is. It ranges from 1, strongly disagree, to 5, strongly agree, and some examples of the statements. My beliefs about myself often conflict with one another, and I spend much time wondering about what kind of person I really am. A high score on the self-concept clarity scale shows that an individual has a clearly defined and consistent sense of who they are. A low score on the self-concept clarity scale shows that the individual's sense of self is not clearly defined and stable. So when I was creating the survey, there was actually a single item missing from the self-concept clarity scale due to human error. So the missing statement was, I seldom experience conflict between different aspects of my personality. So obviously the scale was analysed and interpreted in SPSS, excluding the missing item. So we ended up with 11 items for this scale, but it did report a high reliability and consistency with a Cronbach's Alpha of 0.89. So we have here the presentation of online self-scale for adults, and obviously it has 3 subscales: adaptable self, freedom of self online, or authentic self. Here we are going to look at the freedom of self online. So it's a 7-item subscale that assesses how an individual merits online self-presentation and the ability to express oneself. It ranges on the Likert scale from 1, strongly disagree, to 5, strongly agree. Some examples: I can show my best qualities online, and communicating online allows me to say the things I cannot say offline. So a high score on the FOSO scale. The individual believes in the value of online self-presentation and the freedom to express oneself. And a low score on the FOSO scale. The individuals do not place a high value on online self-presentation and the freedom to express themselves. Now, if we look at the authentic self subscale in the presentation of online self-scale for adults, it's a 4-item subscale, and it assesses how an individual presents authenticity online in comparison to offline. It ranges from 1, strongly disagree, to 5, strongly agree, and some examples are I feel I am the same person in the cyber world that I am in the real world, and I can't really be myself online. A high score on the AS scale shows that the individual presents their authentic selves online. And a low score on the AS scale shows that they do not present their authentic self online compared to their offline self. There was then some exploratory questions and some open-ended questions that I asked around TikTok's features, so augmented reality filters, lip syncing effect, and text-to-speech effect. So how often do you use AR filters on TikTok, and what are your reasons for using them? How often do you lip sync in your TikTok videos, and what are your reasons for doing that? And how often do you use text-to-speech feature, and what is your reasons for doing that? They're very open-ended questions. So looking at the results for hypothesis 1, just to remind you, the hypothesis was TikTok creators who score low on the self-concept clarity scale will score higher on the freedom of self online subscale in the presentation of online self scale for adults. So Pearson's correlation coefficient was calculated to test if there was a relationship between self-concept clarity and the subscale. And there was a moderate correlation between the two variables, and the relationship was significant. Low levels of perceived self-concept are associated with higher levels of freedom of self online subscale. So the results support hypothesis 1. Looking at hypothesis 2, TikTok creators who score high on the self-concept clarity scale will score higher again on the authentic self subscale in the presentation of online self scale for adults. Once again, Pearson's correlation coefficient was calculated to test if there was a relationship. There was actually no correlation between these two variables, and the relationship was not significant. Therefore, the results did not support hypothesis 2. So looking at the content analysis for the exploratory questions, a priori coding was used to analyze this data. However, interracial reliability testing did not take place. Because I was unable to work with other researchers. This is a limitation. However, this data is an exploratory approach, so it does not affect the final hypotheses. So for augmented reality filters, we can see that over 34% use augmented reality filters for self-presentation. 19% of them use it for aestheticism, 17% for trends, 10% for fun entertainment, 6% for humor, experimentation, and content creation. Looking at the lip syncing effect, we can see that 36 or almost 37% of people use lip syncing for trends. 29.8 use it for fun and entertainment, 15% use it for humor, 10% for self-presentation, and 7% for engagement. And finally, we look at the text-to-speech effect. 26.5% of people use it for accessibility, 22.4% used it for self-presentation, 16.3% for entertainment and humor, 10.2% for content creation and engagement and trends, and then 4.1% for convenience. So looking at the discussion here, a negative correlation between the freedom of self online subscale and the self-concept clarity supports hypothesis 1. This finding supports the theory that adults with lower self-concept clarity express a mixture of an ideal self and believe in the value of online self-presentation, the freedom to express oneself, and it allows users to perform for different audiences and contexts. Looking at hypothesis 2, I was quite shocked by this. Hypothesis 2 was not supported as there was no correlation between the authentic self subscale and self-concept clarity. The lack of relationship actually contradicts previous findings that adults with higher self-concept clarity express an authentic version of themselves online, similar to the offline world. When we look at augmented reality filters, over a third of the participants that use AR filters for self-presentation purposes. This supports previous literature that states that people that use Snapchat change their facial features, add graphics to their faces, and change the virtual environment around them. Some participants who fell into the self-presentation category stated that they felt a huge pressure to whiten teeth, or that the filters cover blemishes and skin flaws and make them feel more confident. the lip syncing effect, almost 2/5 of participants were motivated because of trends. This is consistent with Aberdeen's literature, stating that users use a soundbite or a sound to match trending audio, meme, or a soundbite. Some participants commented that they will use a trending song or participate in a trend to feel included. Almost 30% of participants stated they lip sync for fun or entertainment, and almost 16% lip sync for humor. Some participants stated that they relate or like the audio, or think that there are some funny sounds to lip sync to. Interestingly enough, self-presentation was the 4th highest code in this question at almost 11%. Some participants explained that lip syncing looks better than doing nothing in a video, or they'll try to look less awkward. But due to the nature of lip syncing and the complexity that requires creating the videos, there would be expectations that the self-presentation percentage would be higher. So if we look at the text-to-speech effect, 1/4 of participants stated that they use the feature for accessibility. This is consistent with the literature that text-to-speech is used for accessibility on devices for the visually impaired. Some participants commented that text-to-speech helps them so they could potentially help others, and it's accessible for everyone. Other comments stated that relatives have hearing disabilities and would like them to enjoy their content. So most of the comments from the participants stated they were not confident using their real voice, or that their accent might be difficult for people to understand. These comments were consistent with previous literature, that when people listen back to their recorded voice, it can sound thinner and high-pitched. This leads to a distaste for one's voice. 16% of text-to-speech motivations were for entertainment and humor, with some participants stating that it is like a narrator in my videos, or sometimes they make my video funnier. Some final thoughts. So TikTok self-presentation format is different from other social media sites. Users create short-form videos in the application and use popular features to participate in trends and entertain and make jokes. There's accessibility and aesthetical reasons. Most of these reasons would suggest that TikTok users might not actually take their presentation on the app too seriously, or wish to present an authentic self, as some of the exploratory questions revealed the features are used for fun. However, Choi and colleagues' research showed that individuals actually presented non-strategic self-presentation on temporary statuses on social media. Therefore, TikTok users may be more strategic with their self-presentations and freedom to express an ideal self because their statuses are permanent. In other words, TikTok could be an opportunity for strategic creative self-presentation and expressing a fun self without the need to take it too seriously. So this research contributes to impression management, self-presentation online, and self-concept clarity theories. The results and exploratory questions provide some new insight into where social media self-presentation could be heading in the future. This form of social media presentation could become more common and will allow users to be a separate ideal or fun self, completely different from their offline selves because of the lack of relationship with the authentic self-presentation. Furthermore, because features like AOR filters, text-to-speech, and lip syncing were used primarily for entertainment and fun, TikTok may not be taken as seriously as previous social media channels like Instagram or Facebook. Instead, I suggest that TikTok could be used as an entertainment channel, similar to other media outlets like TV, YouTube, Netflix, or radio, as creating videos is heavily incentivized and people can engage with their own and others' content of self-presentation. Some strengths and limitations to the study. So, some strengths. Gap in the knowledge on how users present themselves on TikTok, and the skills used in the study were reliable. The exploratory questions surrounding AOR filters, text-to-speech, and lip syncing gave an insight into an area that currently has no research. Some limitations. Research would ideally be replicated with a larger sample. I had difficulty recruiting participants, and there was a biased participant group because the people that I was reaching out to were people that I saw on my For You page. However, the algorithm then would be biased, showing me content they think that I want to see, so I might not have gotten a wide range demographic. There was a missing item in the self-concept clarity scale, and there was no inter-rater reliability for the content analysis. So some future research This research, this thesis could actually be redone for adolescents. So adolescent self-presentation, self-concept clarity, motivations on TikTok, social connection on TikTok. Is TikTok a social media platform or is it an entertainment platform? Do TikTok users feel pressure to keep up with trends? Investigate correlations between personality, self-confidence, self-concept clarity for users who use augmented reality filters, and how accessibility through the text-to-speech feature is used within communities that suffer from disabilities. So to top it off, while new social media networks are appearing and evolving rapidly, the presentation of the self is showcased through new and different rich media formats compared to other social media channels. Therefore, because of TikTok's growth and its global presence, it is essential to continue to investigate the self-presentation methods and strategies of users on TikTok. Here are some references. And here is a slide about me. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me at ruthguest93@gmail.com or contact me through my website. Thank you very much for listening.